Can you guys hear me? Okay, so if you have any questions, we can get started a little early, 2 minutes before 7. Thank you for filling out the little poll on the bottom, middle of the page. Who's your teacher? And if you have any specific questions on the topics I listed on the side or in the middle, feel free to ask about any of those topics. You need to see an example, even quiz questions. Okay, perfect, yes. So thank you, Brooklyn, for asking a question. I will turn to the page looking for distance. Hopefully you have a calculator so that you can punch it in your square root answer. Okay, let me turn. Oops. Okay, number 34. Okay, so number 34 is asking for the distance, I believe. Sorry, just sending a couple messages to some people. Okay, so this is page. Oops. If you have any friends that are trying to come in, let them know they need to enter their first and last name. I've been declining some of them. So if they're texting you like, I can't get in, you just let them know they need first and last name. Okay, page 74. Number 34. So number 34, let me write the endpoints. A is -3, 2, and B is, move this aside here, 3, -2. Okay, so distance formula, we need to utilize our distance formula. Okay. All right, so then that distance formula is the square root of the two x's you subtract. So I'm going to subtract these two. I'm going to put the top one first. So that's -3. I use green again. And then minus the other number, okay, 3. And then I must square whatever that answer is. Then I use the next two numbers. So the next two numbers are 2 and -2. So I subtract 2 minus -2. You could also rewrite it. You could have also did it backwards, where you did 3 minus -3 squared plus -2 minus 2 squared. So regardless of your method, you do need to do whatever the inside is first. So first one, I'm going to get -6 squared, because -3 minus -3 is -6. And then the second one is 2 minus -2. So that one is going to be just +4 squared. Now, if you did the other method, sorry, it's getting a little sloppy down here, you would have gotten +6 squared plus -4 squared. Doesn't matter. So your result is going to be whatever you're always going to get a positive answer. So -6 times -6 is 36. And then 4 times 4 is 16. Then that will regard to, we're going to add the numbers in the inside. That's 52. Take your calculators out and let's round to the nearest tenth. Okay, sure. Okay, still 3 people are trying to enter, but they're not putting their last name, so I'm rejecting, I am declining. So if they're saying I can't get in, let them know. Okay. So final answer, let's plug it into the calculator. It should be 7 point something. And let me just use my calc. You should be hitting the square root button, so second x squared to activate the square root, and then hit 52, and you should get 7.21. But I don't need the 1, so final answer is 7.2 units. That's our final answer, 7.2 units. So we just did a distance formula given the 2 coordinates in green, and we plugged it into our formula. Let me write the formula for distance. Formula is subtract the x's. And usually we have like x sub 2 minus x sub 1. Then you square it, and then you subtract the y's. Usually y sub 2, y sub 1, and then you square it. From there, you just plug in and all that stuff. Okay, that's 34 from the homework. Let's do circumference, then I'll do midpoint, yes. Okay, so circumference is C for circumference, 2 pi r. Or you can use pi d. So you really need to know what r is, the radius, 2 pi r. So let's say the diameter is given, okay, of a circle. The diameter is 20 centimeters. The diameter is 20 centimeters. So that means the radius is half, so you gotta use 10. So circumference, if I plug it into the formula, it's gonna be 2 pi 10. And then that means that's going to be 20 pi. So if it says leave it in terms of pi, you're going to have 20 pi centimeters. But if you are going to need a decimal, you'll need to punch 20 times the actual pi button. So it's not enough to just do 3.14. You're going to push the pi button, hit enter, and this result, if it asks nearest 10th place, your final answer will be 62.8. No more pi because you punched in your calculator. Is centimeters. So 62.8 centimeters. So just be careful. Read the instructions on your test tomorrow. So does it want it in pi form? Just stop at 20 pi, or does it want it in what's it called? Decimal form, like 10th place. Then you will do your calculator stuff. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, sorry guys, a little delay because again, some people are still not putting their first and last name, so I just have to send a message. Sorry for the little delay. I'll do another circumference one. I'll do one a little bit harder. Sorry, another message. Okay, just a tad harder because of fractions. Okay, so circumference. Let's say the diameter of a circle is 4/9 inches. Okay, it's a fraction. So the radius is half of that. So the radius is half of 4/9, and that is going to be 2/9. So we won't give you ridiculous numbers. Okay, so 2/9. So that's the number we need to use. We're trying to find circumference, and the circumference is 2 pi r. So then we do 2 pi 2/9. If you do the formula pi d, you don't have to like divide, you know what I'm saying, for the radius. But if you don't know that, I just remember 2 pi r, this is what you're gonna do. Okay, so now you gotta think about, these are multiplying whole numbers with fractions. So multiply the top numbers, you're gonna get 4. Multiply the bottom numbers, you're gonna get 9. And then there's this pi hanging out. So your final answer is 4/9 pi. inches because it's circumference, it's the outside. And then if it says round to the nearest tenth, you're going to have to do 4 divided by 9, which is 0.44444, then times the pi button, which is 1.39. I'm going to bump it up to 1.4. And I got to put inches. So if it wants 10th place, you got to use your calculator. If it wants, what's it called? Pi form, then you're going to leave it in that form, okay? Let's see. When I read a couple of your questions, let's see. Okay, so let's see. Okay, for some reason there's a little glitch. Okay, can you go over intersection of planes? I'll do midpoint next, then I'll do intersection of planes, and then I will end this poll. Boom. So now, hide. Okay. So, how do you do end points? Okay. All right. So if you're in here, I kind of gave up. You're in here with just your first name. I've been sending you a note. Next time you'll have to come in with your first and last name. So there's several of you who have been coming in just with your first name. Once again, you're gonna have to come in next time with your first and last name. I let you in today, but next time, sorry. Okay, so let's do midpoint. So I'm gonna do the generic midpoint one, okay? By the way, the formula for midpoint is you add your x's, then divide by 2. Add is different from distance. You add. Then you add your y's, and then you divide by 2. Again, add for midpoint, okay? So here's a generic, very simple, straightforward. It'll say, here's a midpoint 3, 4, and negative 2, 5. Find the midpoint between it. What's the middle? So the midpoint, you would literally just plug into the formula. So here are the x's. You're going to add them. So 3 plus negative 2, then divide by 2. Again, you're adding. Then you're going to add the y's. So 4 plus 5 divided by 2. It's okay to get fractions. Totally fine. First answer is 1 over 2. The second answer is 9 halves. So this is your middle of those 2 points. That one's an easy one, okay, for midpoint. Let me do one with endpoints. So the one with endpoints for midpoint, so let's say you're given endpoint and midpoint, and then let's find the endpoint, okay? So for the midpoint, let's say it's 2, negative 3. Let's say the endpoint is 7, 1, and we need to figure out the other endpoint. So what I highly recommend is to restructure this. I'm going to show you 2 ways of doing this. The first way is very fast and efficient. So the first way is where I'm going to put the first given endpoint. So that's 7, 1. This is the end. Then I'm going to put the midpoint in the middle, literally in the middle. And then this last one is what I'm trying to figure out, the endpoint. I'm showing a trick. So if your teacher didn't teach you this style, it's just a trick that I taught my students. So between 7 and 2, it's 5 units apart. So if 2 is the middle, that means from 2 to something will also have to be 5 units apart. So think about, so 2, if I add 5, I'll get 7. That means now I have to subtract 5. So 2 is the middle, minus 5 gives you a result of negative 3. Okay? That's one of the half the answers, so fast. Then you do the other one. So between 1 and negative 3, that's 4 units apart. And so that means negative 3 to something will be 4 units apart. So negative 1, I added 4 to get 1. So I have to subtract 4 to get the new answer. So negative 3 minus 4 is negative 7. If you're like, whoa, that was so fast, I would recommend you to check your work. So let's say you're given the fact that the two endpoints, okay, are 7, 1 and -3, 7. We're checking our work to see if the middle is 2, -3. So that means if I do the midpoint formula, I'm going to add the x's. I'm just checking work. We're already done. But add the x's, divide by 2. I just did this earlier. Add the y's, divide by 2. Then that means that's 4 over 2, comma, 6, -6 over 2. Oh my gosh, look at that. That is the midpoint to -3, which was given. Highly suggest you to check your work. All the black stuff right here on the side was to check the work. Okay, I'll do another one like that. Let's say the endpoint is -2, comma, 1. The midpoint is 5, comma, -3. Find the other endpoint. If you like the trick, use it. I'm going to make a poll right now, and you're going to answer in the poll. So don't answer in the chat box. Please answer in the poll. I'm just typing it right now. Hold on. Let's see, endpoint. If you could put the parenthesis and then your answer, okay? The poll is open, is right here in the middle. And right after this, so the poll is open, right? Type in your answers, not in the chat box, but in the poll. I got one answer so far out of 40 of you. Someone wrote the word but not the answer. Okay. Okay, Ryan, I will do that in a little bit. So let's see, I'm going to do plane of intersections. So far, I got 1 wrong answer, 2 wrong answers, 3 wrong answers, 4 wrong answers out of 11. Okay, it's not -2, -7. It's not 7, -7. It's not 12, 4. Okay, let me show you the trick. I'm going to start. So thank you, 17 of you guys. About close to half has answered it. So I'm showing the trick method. So the distance between -2 and 5, there's 7 units apart. That means from the midpoint to the end point, it's also 7 units. If I start at 5 and I got to -2, I subtracted. So if I start at 5, now I have to add. So the first answer is 12. So if you didn't get 12, you got to work on it, okay? Then let's talk about the y's. These are 4 units apart. -3 is the middle. To get from -3 to 1, it looks like I added 4. That means I have to subtract 4 now. So that means -3 minus 4 is -7. So this is the final answer. A good half of you guys got that, but there were still a few that got it incorrectly. Now, if you typed it in, check your work. Let's do mental math. What's 2 plus 12? The answer is 10. What's 10 divided by 2? 5. I'm checking it. Yes. What's 1 plus -7? -6. Divide that by 2. That's -3. Check your work. Check your answers. Make sense out of it, okay? I'm going to end this poll, and I'm going to hide it for now. All right. So now, okay, let me talk about the plane intersections. I believe someone asked that earlier. Then I'll answer Ryan's question, and then the perimeter stuff. Okay, so this one is the intersection of planes. I'm going to do my best to draw a box. So let's do red for the back. So this is a good rectangular prism. It's just a box. And let's call this point AB, right? A and B. So that's a segment technically, but it's also a line that keeps going because planes go forever. So if it asks us to shade, let me put more letters. C, D in the front, E, F in the back, G, H in the back. I think that's it. Okay. So if I ask you guys to shade the plane ABG, that means it has to touch those 3 points and it has to make a plane. So this is your ABG, okay? But I think the person who is asking, like, what happens with the intersection? So I did that, that's done. What happens if I color the top lid and the side? What is the intersection? The answer is this line right here, this yellow line, which is AF. So that's the intersection of the 2 planes, the top plane and the side plane. It will always be a line. 2 planes intersect at a line. Okay, all right, so then the next part, let me answer Ryan's question. So I know I did this with my class today. Let me reread half the area. Okay, so for instance, let's give you a picture. Here's a circle. Let's say this is 22 inches in diameter, because that diameter is provided to us. Let's find area of half a circle. Okay, so what that means is, let me literally draw what we're finding the area of. We're literally finding the area of this shaded region, no longer this picture. So this is 22 inches. And let's say we want this in the nearest 10th place. We need a calculator, okay? So step 1, what's formula of area of a circle? That's pi r squared. Step 2, what is half a circle? Is literally half of your answer. Which was the arrows supposed to point? I'm not sure, Cheyenne, what you're referring to anymore. Sorry. Can someone answer for Cheyenne? Okay, so I don't have the radius. The diameter is 22. The radius is half. I need to use 11. So I have half, because it's half a circle, times pi 11 squared. What's 11 squared? That answer is 121. So if you're given 1/2, so I'm going to do my work over here now, sorry. So now I have half of 121 pi, basically, half 121 pi. I'm going to type all this in, or I could even say this is 60.5 pi if I really wanted, right? So I need to punch this in my calculator. So everyone, if you have a calculator at home, do this, because this is going to be on the test tomorrow. You have 60.5 times the pi button, or you do 121 times pi times 1/2, or times 0.5, okay? Where did I get the 11 from? Oh, it's half of the diameter. So you do 22 divided by 2, okay? All right, so final answer, this is what I'm getting in my calculator, is 190.06. So I'm gonna round it up to 1. And then it is square inches. Final green answer, 190.1. I bumped it up, square inches. Final answer. Okay, I'm going to have you guys do one as well. So again, find half the circle. Here we go. Here is half the circle. The diameter is given, and the diameter is 42 inches. Find the area of half the circle. And I will put my pole up. You're going to have to round to the nearest 10th. Okay, nearest 10th. Just wait for my pole. It's coming soon. Wait in a little bit. So area 10. This is half your circle. Okay, the pole is up there. So if you have your answer, go ahead and jot it down. Sorry, the numbers are pretty big. Ooh, it's a very, very large number. It's not 1,000. It's not 1,000. The radius is 21, but that's not your final answer. You gotta do pi r squared stuff. So the diameter is 42. You gotta cut it in half. It's not, let me redo my answer, hold on. It's not 1,300. So if you got 1,385.4, you forgot to do something. Change your answer. I got 2 correct answers. 3, 4 correct answers. Change some of your answers, not 1,000. Okay, I'll just go up until I get 15. I got 13 right now. People. I need one more person just for the poll and I'll end it. Okay, I got more than 15. Cool. I think half of you got the correct answer. Thank you for participating. It is 692.7 square inches. You do need your units, especially Territoria's class. That's the final answer. So once again, 692. So I'll show the work. So 11 is the number, 21 is the number you have to use. Sorry, 21, not 42, 21. And that new number is humongous, 441. And then you just punch all of this in your calculator, or you could type in 220.5 pi, and regardless, you should get this answer. So be aware it's half of your final answer. If you got 1,300, you were pretty close. Okay, let's see, no constructions tomorrow. No constructions, Nicole. Okay, so let me see. Sorry, I'm not reading everyone's comments. So hopefully you guys are helping each other out. Can you show us how to graph a figure on a coordinate plane? Okay, find the perimeter of a figure. Okay, clarify. All right, page 722. Okay. All right, so let's see. So we found half the area. Then I'll answer Kayla's question. So for instance, let's say you're given 3, 5. So I'll start graphing as we go. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you go on your X, you go 3, and then you go up 5. Here's coordinate I'll call A. And then let's say coordinate B is -2, 1. So -2 on the left, up 1. So here's B. And then let's say C is 4, -3. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4 to the right, and then go down 1, 2, 3. There's your letter C. So these are your 3 points we're going to connect, and it is a triangle. I don't think you have to figure out the perimeter of this type. It's a lot of work, but if you had to find the perimeter of this triangle, again, this is not on the test, but if you did have to find the perimeter of this triangle, what you would have to do is find the distance of each segment. That's a lot of work, a lot of square root stuff. So you find the distance, and the distance, okay? But again, I'm not going to go into that because it is not required for the test. You do have to know how to find distance, but not for a figure like this. That's a little later on. But in general, if you have a picture, let's say something like this, and you have like tick marks, and you have like 40 and 60, then you have to infer some information on your own. These tick marks on the side mean they're congruent, so you're required to, divide 40 by 2. So this is now 20 and 20, and also this is 20. Coincidentally, but this measurement right here, this zigzag measurement, you have to do 60 minus 20 to get 40. So again, coincidentally, it was the same number. And then let's say you have to find perimeter, you just add all the numbers outside. If you have to find area, you just cut it here, you find the area of one of them, which is like 1,600, and this one is 400, and the total is 2,000. Or you can split it up. Oops. Sorry, slow. Or you could do the whole thing, which is the smartest method, which is 2,400, and then minus this tiny region because you're taking it out, and you still get 2,000. Okay, so that's that type. Let me see. Perimeter, clarify midpoint. Let me do midpoint a little bit. Let me answer Lucas's question. Read, there's between 20 to 25 questions tomorrow on the test. So timing wise, that gives you an average of 2 to up to 3 minutes per problem. Some questions you'll do in 30 seconds. Some questions you'll take longer because of the algebra, okay? How do you rename a plane? Okay, let me answer Lucas's question first. 722, number 18. So, I don't, oh, 72. I was like, we're not in 722. Okay, so this one is a figure. Yep, okay, I'm gonna have to draw this best of my ability. We got N, Q, R. I know for Terry's class we did this in a warm-up. So hopefully Terry's class, you got it. Okay. Here and here. Those tick marks mean they're congruent. So this is what's given in number 18. I'm just going to fill in the blank. MQR. MQR is from here to here. MQR is this double angle, right? That's 61 degrees. That's given to us. MQR. Then the next answer or next given is MQP. MQP, this blank one right here, which is 25 degrees. It's asking us what is this angle in the question mark region. This is PQR. Well, that means you don't even need the other angle up top. So this is angle addition postulate. 25 plus something equals 61 degrees. And then you do your math. You're going to subtract 25 from both sides. So that's, what is that, 46 degrees, final answer, number 18. Okay, or number 18, all right. I think, let's see, how did you get -7? Okay, sorry, I have to read more toward the bottom. Page 74, number 39. So that one is it's asking for perimeter area. Okay, so let's draw this as best as I can. I'm not going to draw the right angles, okay? There are right angles, but I'm going to try my best to just kind of mainstream this a little bit. If you guys are in this chat, or in this, what is it called, GVL, make sure next time you sign in with your first and last name. Next time you won't be able to come in at all if your first and last name is not appearing. I did let you in today, okay? This is 3 inches, and the other one is 5 inches. Okay, let's find perimeter first. So perimeter is easy because you just add up all of the segments. So I'm just labeling all the outsides. Okay, so there are 4 green ones, so that's 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5, that's 20. And then how many red ones? 4 red ones, so 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3, that's 12. The total perimeter is 32 inches. This is the perimeter. Okay, P for perimeter. Now area, totally different story. You have to chunk it up, you have to break it up into pieces. So for area, I'm trying to delete this. There's different methods. I'm just going to do one method. It might not have been your choice, but step 1, I'm going to break it up here because then it'll, I drew it right. It'll break it up into 2 rectangles. So looking at this first black rectangle, the dimensions is 3 by 5. So the area of this rectangle is 15. And then this, let me color it yellow. This rectangle on the bottom left, that is 5 by 5, so that's 25 square inches. So the area of the whole figure, the left side is 25, the right side is 15, the grand total is 40 square inches whenever you're talking about area. So don't forget to put that little exponent, but we read it as square inches. But that's for number 39 on the homework. Okay, let me see. We can replay this. Yep, sorry, I'm just kind of rereading everyone's. Let's see, how do you do? Okay. We did an irregular shape, Bradley. Can you do, okay. Page 72, number 18. Lucas, did I do that already? I don't remember. Oh, I just did that. Never mind. I'm rereading an old one. Okay, some of you are helping each other out. Thank you, guys. I'm supposed to memorize the area and perimeter formula. Yes, you do need to know your area formula for triangle. Area for triangle is 1/2 base times height. Triangle is 1/2 base times height. Area for triangle. Area for a rectangle is just base times height. Okay. Perimeter, don't even memorize the formula. It's just add all the sides. If your calculator doesn't have a pi button, I recommend you to borrow one from your teacher if they have one, or from a friend that's not in the same period. You do want to push the pi button. Okay, let's do page 73, number 24. Oh, I see, you're using your phone, Reed. Yep, you gotta turn it sideways. All right, page 73, number 24. Okay, so let's see. 24. Yep. Okay. First, step 1. What do you call two angles that are next to each other and are on a line? What are these two angles called, left and right side? Can someone answer? What are these two angles called? Coplanar. Yeah, I could do coplanar. It's a linear pair. Linear pair is what I was looking for. Also, linear pair, it's adjacent, but that doesn't matter. Also, they're supplementary. That's important. Supplementary means adds to 180. So, good job, 4 of you guys. Nice. So then, what you got to do is you got to do part plus part equals 180. So, sorry, that got messy. All right, 5x plus 5 equals 180. Plug it, sorry, not plug it back in. Subtract 25. You get 155. And then divide by 5. Oh gosh, I think that's 31. X equals 31. And if it asks you to find the angle measures, I think it doesn't for 24. It just says solve for X. But if it did, plug it back in, and then just calculate. Make sure they add to 180 afterwards. Supplementary and linear are pretty much the same thing. Yes, Alex, it's just linear. They form an actual line. But supplementary, they could be separated, but they're still supplementary. So linear, they're both. Supplementary is only one. Yeah, Ryan, that's great. Thank you for that. Okay. Yes, linear, Ethan Kim. Linear can't be separated. That is correct. Okay. All right, let's see. Next question. Let me see. No one's been asking about bisect. That's okay. I do see. So Bradley, hopefully that answered your question, okay? So for instance, linear pair versus supplementary. But this is both up here. Okay. All right, sure, I would do a bisect one, but I think there was a question I skipped. Let me see. How do you rename a plane? Okay, Jasmine, how do you rename a plane? So let's say I have a plane right here. I have a bunch of points. And this is like cursive L, R, Q. Okay, so on plane L, there are 4 points. There's A, B, C, D. So if this is rename plane L, you would literally just take any of the 3 points on that same plane and just write those 3 letters. It could also have been plane ABC. It could have also been plane BCD. Any 3 points on the same plane. But don't use R because that's not in the plane. Don't use Q because that's not on the plane. So that's how you can rename a plane. Let's do a bisect one, a distance one, midpoint one. Gotcha. How do you find where a plane and a line intersect? A plane and a line. Let's say this line goes through here and then dot, dot, dot. Okay. So let's say this is A right here. This is B, C, D, E, and this is plane L. So it might say, where does plane L and line CD intersect? Where do they intersect? So the answer to this is this dot right here. So think of a piece of paper. Think of a pencil. Think you're going to poke a pencil through the paper. It hits one point, and the answer is point B. So you got to visualize that. This is your final answer. Okay? All right. Let's see. Let's do the bisect one. Okay, so let's say ray BD bisects angle ABC. And let's say ABC is 3x degrees. Oops, sorry. Measure of angle ABC. And then, I wrote it backwards, sorry. And then this one is going to be x plus 20. I don't know if the numbers are going to come out right. I hope so. Is equal to measure of angle ABD. Okay, so in this case, I would recommend you to draw the picture. Step 1, draw this angle. I don't care if it's acute or obtuse, just draw it. Label ABC. So that is done. Okay, so check. Then draw your ray BD. So that cuts it in half, this key word. So I drew it, I crossed it out. Bisect, I need to put my angle marks. So they're congruent, congruent. Okay, hint, hint. Now I'm going to label what I just provided us with. So first we have x, oh sorry, this is D. X plus 20 is this top angle. And then ABC is all of this big angle. That's 3x. I hope the math is going to come out right. So, oh man, I don't think we have enough info. We don't have this measurement right here. What is measurement of CBD? Can someone type that in there? What is the measure of angle CBD? Not the final answer. What can you also known as? Yes, Rachel, it's the same as ABD. We weren't given that. You have to infer that information and you have to write it in yourself. This is called angle addition postulate. So you do x plus 20, that's the small part, another x plus 20, and that's going to be equal to 3x. I don't know if the math is good, I just made it up, but let's see, that's 2x plus 40, maybe it might come out right, is equal to 3x, and 40 will equal to x. Oh my gosh, the numbers came out right. So x equals to 40. So if you had to find all the angle measurements, that means measure of ABD, the big one, is 60 degrees. Okay? So, I'm sorry, 120 degrees. So 3 times 40, 120 degrees. Then in here, this is 40 plus 20, that's 60 degrees. And 40 plus 20, that's 60 degrees. It makes sense. 60 plus 60 is 120. But once again, you had to infer this information that there were 2 angles that are the same. So that means you have to add them. Okay? All right. Hopefully that was okay. All right. So then, let me see. Next question was about midpoint and number 12. Okay, let me do the homeworks first. Okay, that's a little more concrete. So page 12, number 12 and number 30. 70 to 74, number 12. So number 12 is asking us to find the possible coordinates of Q such, gotcha. So it's asking for a number value, number 12. So here's your number line. I'm just going to draw P because it's asking for PQ. P is here, which is -2. Sorry, I drew it backwards. And it's asking us, we want PQ equals to 5. So where's Q? What coordinate? Coordinate. I know I marked my students wrong on the quiz. Coordinate is a number. A coordinate. So if you go 5 to the right, that's -2 plus 5, that's 3. Your coordinate is 3. That's one answer choice. Another answer choice, because this is what's your 2 possible coordinates, you go backwards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. -2 minus 5 is -7. So that means Q can go there or Q can go here. And these are your 2 possible coordinate answers for number 12, okay? Next one, Number 34 and 30. Okay, let's do 30 and 34. So 30 and 34. 30 is distance. Did we do that one? I don't think we did distance for 30, so that's good. It's good practice for some people. So we got -1, 5, and we got 0, 4. Okay, distance formula, you got to subtract your x's, then square it. So that means subtract 1 and 0. Doesn't matter the order as long as you put your minus sign in the middle. All right, then subtract your y's. So that's, I think this is a 5. Sorry, I wrote it kind of sloppy. 5 and 4. So subtract your y's. It could be 4 minus 5 or 5 minus 4. It doesn't matter. I'm going to write it the other way just in case you did it the backwards way. You're going to get the same answers. Regardless of your method 1 or method 2, you're going to get 1 plus 1, right? Because this answer is -1. If you square it, you get 1. This answer is 1. If you square it, you're going to get 1. It doesn't matter. Or here too, your answer is 1. Square it, you get 1. This is -1. You square it, you still get 1. So no matter what you do, you're going to get 1 plus 1, which is square root of 2. And then that, I'm pretty sure we need a decimal answer. It's like 1 point something. I don't remember this answer. I know I see it a lot. 1.4 if you round it to the nearest 10. It was 1.41. The 1 is so little that it doesn't do anything. Okay. All right. So now let's do 34. I think 2 people are asking about 34. It's Sophia and Audrey, 34. 34. That one is asking about the end point. No. 34 is a distance one as well. It says find AB to the nearest tenth, meaning find the distance. And you're given -3, 2. Oh, I think I did this one already, but I'm going to do it fast. So you subtract your x's. Again, it doesn't matter what you subtract first, as long as you put a minus sign in between the 2 numbers. You could do it the other way as well. You're going to get the same answer in the end. Okay, and then subtract the y's. That's a 2, by the way. So 2 minus -2, or -2 minus 2. Doesn't matter, because what's -3 minus 3? That's -6. Versus what's 3 minus -3? That's just 6. No matter what, you're going to get 36. Right, from here or from here. Then 2 minus -2, that's 4. Or -2 minus 2 is -4. No matter what you do, you're going to get 4 squared, so 16. The result is rad 52, or square root of 52. Final answer is 7.21. I'm going to round it to 7.2. Okay. To re-watch this, after I push the, after I push the, end button, it's recording right now, then I'll post the direct website so you can re-watch it, okay? Red warning sign, I don't know. I have no clue. I don't even know. Okay. Let's see. Number 30 was distance. Yep. Why do you say, okay. I will send the link. Yes, I will post it. So stay tuned. Probably Mr. Higgood. Yeah, I guess so. I'm not sure what he talked about, but just pretty much study as what you can, and like go over all the homework. Okay, so let's see. Wait, did number 30 solve? Number 30 solve. I don't know. Sorry, Rachel. Okay. So no constructions. All right. So hopefully you're okay with. Let's go through the topics. Okay. Is everyone okay with nets? Okay. Linear pair is 2 angles that touch and 2 angles that form a line. So linear pair is also supplementary, and they form a line. Versus supplementary, just the word supplementary, is they're just 2 random angles that are not touching and they add to 180, but both they add to 180. Okay, but linear pair, they have to touch like so. Yes. Let's see. Are we okay with segment addition postulate? You're given like A, B, C. Let's say point B is in the interior of segment AC. So this is the drawing you would have to do. Right? B is somewhere, not in the middle, but somewhere. And then it'll give you numbers like this is 3x, this is 4x plus 5 or something, and this is like 8x or something rather. So you have to do part plus part equals whole. You don't have to know the postulate names, Lucas, not this chapter, but yes, next chapter, chapter 2, yes, okay? Angle addition postulate, so let's say point B is in the interior of angle ACT, so always draw the angle and list it as you see it, so that's done. B is somewhere in here, and then you're gonna have to connect it. There's a sentence like that, you gotta draw it by yourself, okay? And then it'll give you some information, like this is 3x degrees, this is 60 degrees, and this whole thing is like 5x degrees or something. So you would do part plus part equals whole, you'll solve for x, and then you'll get x is 30. Wait, this is a wrong picture, sorry. My picture's not to scale, but it's okay, it's as long as you understand the concept. So if I had to plug it back in, sorry, it's not to scale, this should have been 90 degrees, and if you plug this back in, this should have been 150. Don't worry about the picture, okay? 36, sure thing. And then makes me how to find another name for a line. Yes, I can do that, Bradley, right after I do 36 from the homework. All right, 36 is midpoint. So you're given J, 9, -5. You're given M. Oh, M is the midpoint. Find K. Find the end point. This is the mid. This is the end. So I'm going to show the trick way. The trick way is find how many units apart is 9 and 5. That's 4 units apart. Therefore, K has to be 4 units apart from M. So since I start from 5 as the middle, it looks like I added 4 to get 9. So that means I have to subtract 4 to get a new number. What's 5 minus 4? The answer is 1. Okay. Then you do it again for the y's. So the y's, this is 3 units apart. That means -2 to something has to be 3 units apart. If I start at -2, the middle, and I got to -5, it looks like I subtracted. So this time I have to add 3. -2 plus 3 is 1. Whoa, so there's your answer, 1, 1. Now, if you don't believe it, draw it out. If you have time to sketch it, right? Draw out J, just a quick sketch. M is somewhere here, just a quick sketch. And if we did it right, here's K, 1, 1. So M is the midpoint between K and J. Always graph it if you need to. Or, last resort, do it as if you didn't know the midpoint. So here are your 2 coordinates, your endpoints. Find the midpoint. This is to check your work. So then you're going to do 9 plus 1 divided by 2, midpoint formula, and -5 plus 1 plus divided by 2. We're checking to see if we're going to get the middle. So that's 10 over 2, comma, -4 over 2. I'm just checking the work. And yahoo! This is the midpoint. So our math worked out going forwards, going backwards, okay? Midpoint, you're always adding the x's and adding the y's. If you're subtracting, you're doing it wrong, okay? Subtraction is for distance. Addition is for midpoint. Okay, let's talk about, oh, good questions. Okay, so I have to kind of go up. Let's see. Where was that question? Oh no, I lost it. Oh, what's another name for line L? Okay, so here's a Sorry, that's A, B, C, line L. So another way to name line L is pick two letters, AB with the bar above it, BC with the bar above it, or AC with the bar above it. Those are three other ways to name it. Just pick 2 points on the line. Don't pick this point D. Okay? All right, let me answer a couple other questions. You go naming rays and lines. Yes. So rays, actually, let me just draw a line. This is going to answer several of your questions. A, B, C. So this line, I can name it as AC. This is line. I can name it as BC. They're all the same line. Or I can name it as AB. Right? Those are three different ways of naming the line. There are different rays. Let me highlight it. If I start at B and I go this way, that's ray BC. I have to start at B. If I go the other direction in green, that's ray BA. The red and the green are considered now opposite rays. They go in different directions and they start with the same letter. However, B, let me put a letter D here. BC, ray BC and ray BD are not opposite rays because they are not going in the same direction. Ray BC is the same as ray BD. It's both this red arrow mark. So they are not opposite rays, okay? So there's numerous ways of naming a bunch of rays in this figure now since I added the letter D. I could also name another opposite rays. I can do this yellow one, which starts at C, call that CA, because it starts at C, this bullet point. And if I go the red direction, which is this way, that's ray CD, and those are also opposite rays, okay? So when you put two arrows, that is a line. If you put one arrow, it is a ray. Couple minutes, about 4 minutes in the GVL is gonna be over. The arrow is never, like when you write it down, at least for my class, I'm not gonna accept it. So even though they're the same, I'm not gonna accept it. We typically write left to right, just in English. So just be aware of that, okay, Ryan? When it is a line, is there two different ways going opposite? Can you explain? Oh yes, side of an angle. Thank you for reminding me. Okay, so name the sides of an angle. This was on your quiz, and it might be on your test again. So here's an angle. Let me do like A, B, C, D. Here's 1 and 2. So let's say, what are the sides of angle 1? So sides of an angle are rays. So here's the red one. So the first answer is BA, arrow going left. That's one answer. And there's another answer I'm going to color in green. It starts at B, which is also called the vertex. You need to know that word, vertex. Those are your sides of the angle, okay? If I asked what are the sides of angle 2, then it would be the green one, and it would be the yellow one. In this picture, what is your vertex for angle 1? Can someone write the letter? What is the vertex for angle 1? Yes, it is capital B. Very good, capital B. All right, so can you explain how to find the midpoint of a line when the full length of a line has been given? Bradley, I don't know. All right, you guys can stop answering. Thank you, guys. Okay. Bradley, I don't know what you're meaning. So like, let's say you're given a segment. How do you find the midpoint of a line? You can't. Lines don't have a midpoint. You can find the midpoint of a segment. I don't know. Let's see, like this. I'm just making it up because I'm not understanding what you're saying. Or you're given coordinates? I don't know. Okay, so are you giving coordinates, Bradley? You could, Nicole, you could watch the last year's, that's a smart one. Yeah, it's on YouTube. Okay, so you're given coordinates. All right, so 3, 5. Obviously, this is not going to be a horizontal line, so maybe I should graph it. 3, 5. So here, and then let's say -2 and 1. So here's -2 and 1. So we want to find the midpoint. So here's the graph, but so to find the midpoint, the way to do it is you add the x's, so that's -2 plus 3, and then you cut it in half. So that's 1/2 the answer, right? That's your new x. Then you add the y, so 1 and 5. You've got to add. You're finding the average. Average. Okay, that's 6/2, which is just 3. So then this is the answer to the question. If I graph it, it's pretty accurate. Here is 1/2, 3, where I'm putting green dot. That's the middle. So I'm pretty good with the graph and the number. Okay? Yeah, exactly. Okay, so that's a different question, Bradley. So if you're given a segment, no coordinates, let's say you have A, and then B is somewhere here, and C is somewhere here, you have to be given a couple things. You have to be given, let's say, BC is like 3x, and this whole thing is 5x, and this portion is like 10 or something. You have to be given some items. You're welcome. So then this one you would just do part plus part equals whole. Versus, okay, versus if it said B is the midpoint, if they told us it's the midpoint, and there's A and C, you got to put your own tick marks. And let's say AB is 2x plus 5, and AC is 4x. In this case, you have to infer some information. You're given half of the length, right here to here. You're given the full length, and you're like, oh shoot, what's this length? That length is the same as this length right here, even though I didn't give it to you. So you have to infer this information and say, oh, BC is 2x plus 5 as well. And then you're going to do your algebra. You're going to do your math. So you're going to calculate. I'm running out of space. Equals the whole thing 4x. So part plus part equals whole. Oh shoot, this is a bad number. Let's change this to 5x. Sorry. So 5x. Sorry. So then you do your math. I think x will equal to 10. And then you plug it back in. So this AB is 25. AC is 50. Should be double. And BC is 25. Okay, so half circle, half triangle. Yes, there could be even. So there could, so yes or no, right? Sorry, I can't give you a straightforward answer. But there could be something like this, where you have to find the area of this. It looks like an ice cream cone. Oh man, that looks tasty. Okay, so let's say this whole segment, aka the diameter, that whole segment is 10 centimeters. And then this whole segment here is 20 centimeters. So if you have to find the area of the half circle, you should do pi r squared, but you gotta cut it in half because of the word half circle. Okay, so then the radius is not 10. The radius is here to here. So the radius is half of 10. So that's 1/2 because it's half a circle, pi 5 squared. That's half of 25 pi. And that's pretty much 12.25. No, sorry, 12.5 pi. Okay, I'm going to save this answer. I'm going to put in the calculator later. The area of the triangle is 1/2 base times height. So it's 1/2. The green one's 20. The red one's 10. So half of 200 is 100. So I have to add these answers. I'm going to use a calculator. Yes, you will need it for sure. So V, you need to bring a calculator to your class, okay? My students, remember I'm selling them, so please buy one because you will need one for the rest of the year. 25 times pi button, divided by, or multiplied by half. So that's 39.3, I rounded up, 39.3 plus 100, final answer is 139.3. Don't forget your units, tiers class, is square centimeters. 3.14, yes, but you need to try to do pi because that'll give you the more exact answer. Okay, does that make sense? So you need to use a calculator. Okay, but if you don't have a calculator, Ethan, you're right, you would do 3.14, but it's not exact. Okay? All right, so that is it. It is a little past 8. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the recording and I'm going to put the link. So just hang tight.